Will now be recorded.
Good morning, everyone. Is screen and audio both are fine or not? Please confirm. Yeah, screen and audio both are fine or not? Please confirm.
Yes, sir. It's okay.
Okay, thank you. So this is the demo session for technical training. So we'll be using Innovus platform to perform all the technical scripts. So before we start, let me just quickly, just quickly tell you like what will be the course structure. So basically, it will consist of. Let me just write down. So the course here, right? So course duration will be for 4 weeks. Okay. So 4 weeks. It means like on Saturday, Sunday, we will have this session. So it will complete in 1 month. I will write at least 1 month. If something comes up, it can extend, but at least there will be session for 1 month. Okay. Apart from this, right? So we'll go through. So can you tell me like how many of you are acquainted with the tickle scripting? Like you have at least know the basics, you have done, you have learned somewhere, right? Before this session. Just I want to know how many of you are there who have completed some sort of basic level of tickle scripting, or everyone is new here. They haven't done anything on tickle scripting. Yes, please respond. How many of you have completed tickle basics before or not completed, or you are new to this tickle scripting? So, okay, you have done before basic level. So you are in basic level or you are new. Just mention that. If you are basic level means you have learned somewhere or something. So just you can mention whether you are in basic stage or in new stage. Mm-hmm. PD advanced course done. Synopsis. Basic level. Okay. Yeah. Others. What about others? Please mention because that will help me to model this course. Okay. So I see from the answers, the responses which I am getting here, I understand what I can understand here that most of you have completed the basic level tickle scripting, right? Using maybe synopsis or some other tool. Okay, that's fine. So the one or two people who are here who are just going through the this is the first time you are seeing the tickle script. That is what I can see from your responses. So it's fine whether you are new or basics. So I'll be so as there are new students also who want to learn tickle for the first time. So I'll take it from the basic onwards, right? I'll start it from the basic, but I won't consume lot of time in the basics, right? As our end goal of this session training, tickle training using Innovus is to understand tickle scripting in Innovus platform. So that is what it makes difference from the basic level tickle understanding and understanding in the EDA tool, in the different EDA tool. Some of you might have used tickle scripting in Synopsys tool, right? ICC tool. So this will be on the Innovus. So I'll write down here. So tickle scripting on Innovus, right? So before we will not directly go and jump into tickle scripting on Innovus. So for as we can see that there are some new students also, and we will brush up the basics. You might have learned last year, 2 years back, or some months back. So definitely we will require some basics, right? The basic tickle understanding, right? Next, so once we are okay with the basic level of tickle scripting, right, we have understood the concept here, right, or the syntaxes which is used in tickle scripting. Then we can jump into the next level, right? So what is that next level? So we'll be using, so we'll be start writing some tickle scripts, or we will say that improving the logic understanding, right? So we can improve improving the logic, right? So once this is also completed, now we understood that how lot of different structures are there, how to use the logic, how to apply the logic, right? That will be covered in the second part. In the basic level, we'll covering all the concepts related to optical, right? What are the data types? What are the structure, right? And what are the conditional statements and how to write it? What are the syntax? So all those will be covered in the basic optical. So once we have completed the second point, right? We have understood through some scripts, some programming languages, some basic universal logics which is usually used in optical scripting that we will understand here, right? So next we will jump to the Innovus sessions, right? So in this Innovus session, so we will not be concentrating on the design part basically here, right? Usually what is Innovus tool? It is a EDA tool from Cadence, right? So Innovus is the EDA tool from Cadence, right? Now, what is the purpose of Innovus tool? Anyone, if can answer this? What is the purpose of Innovus tool?
So PNR, placement and route or physical design.
Yes, Nityashri, that is absolutely correct. But is it only PNR, or we can perform any other activities related to PD?
So sign off, timing closure, those things can also be done.
Okay. Sign off means what? What kind of sign off?
Means just want to say static timing analysis means.
We cannot say sign off, but yes, we can do STA analysis.
Hmm.
But sign off, we have separate tools like prime time. Prime time is there for timing, right? We have Red Hawk and Voltus for what?
Power.
Power, correct. And for the physical verification, we have Caliber, right? So sign off we won't do usually in Innovus tool, but yes, timing analysis can be done in Innovus tool. That is correct. And what else? Anyone? Anyone who can answer? So it is basically a EDA tool. For RC extraction, we'll be using not Innovus Nityashri. We'll be using what? Star RC tool, right? So it is nothing but a EDA tool which is used to perform, right? Used to perform design related activities, right? So there is one more very important, that is the first stage of physical design, that is what? Floor planning, right? We cannot directly jump into PNR without doing floor planning, right? So first you have to do floor planning, and then it goes to PNR, placement, CTS, and routing. And then of course you can do the timing, intermediate timing analysis also, right? So this is what we follow, this is what we call is a roughly we can say that it is nothing but a PD flow, right? So whenever we need to design, physical implementation of the design is done in Innovus. It can be done in Innovus as well as in Synopsys ICC2, right? So but our purpose of this session is not to understand the design here, right? Our purpose or our goal of this course is to understand tickle scripting in Innovus environment, right? So once we are okay with the Innovus environment, so can you just tell me with your responses that how many of you are familiar with the Innovus environment? The second question. So this is the second question. Yes. How many of you are familiar with the Innovus environment? In past you might have worked, you might have taken some course on Innovus, or you are new to the Innovus. You know Innovus environment, or you are new. Just you can tell that. You have taken some session, some course on Innovus, or you are completely new, never used Innovus. I am familiar, have done basic floor plan thing. Okay, it means you know the Innovus environment. Anything you have done floor plan or PNR, but at least whether you are familiar with the environment of Innovus or not. That is what I am asking. Or you have never done. Is what about others? Okay, new. Okay. So can I have three more responses? I am familiar. Okay. What about others? Okay. So looks like we have mixed responses here. So we have both who are mostly there are new, right, new to the Innovus environment. So it's fine. So I'll be giving some short briefing on the Innovus environment, like only with related to tickle scripting, how we can use tickle scripting in Innovus environment. So we will take one design, and we will perform tickle scripting on that particular design, right? So in the end, once we are familiar with the Innovus environment, how to load the design, right? How to perform the tickle scripting, how to execute the tickle scripting in Innovus environment, right? If some error comes, how to debug in the Innovus environment, right? All those things we are going to see in the Innovus environment, right? The final and the final part of this course will be that once you are good with one, two, and third point, then only we will go inside tickle scripting. So we will see lot of tickle scripts, right? Tickle scripts related to physical design, right? In Innovus 2, right? So this is the final most point where you will understand that how tickle scripts are used and how it is helpful in your physical design profession using Innovus tool. That is how it is going to help you here in this course, right? Any questions here? Any question on duration? Now classes, when classes will be conducted, right? Classes will be mostly conducted on Saturdays and Saturday and Sunday, right? And timings can be varying, right? Usually we have two slots. So one is the morning slot, which is from 9:30 to 12:30. So each session will be 3 hours, 9:30 to 12:30 p.m., 9:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. And second time or second slot will be post lunch. That is usually 1:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. So each session will be, session duration will be at least 3 hours. Okay. Now how we are going to follow? So you have seen what I'm going to, like, what we are going to follow, in what manner. Now the second important thing is that definitely we will be requiring some hands-on, right? We also need to try some scripts by our own in the live session itself, right? So that we can understand where we are doing the mistakes. So that is what we say, that practical, right, or lab. So there will be not separate lab session. So lab session will be with parallel with all these theoretical session as well as lab session. It will go in hand in hand. It will go in parallel. So you don't have to worry, right? So it is kind of, now we will not say that it is a complete theoretical session, right? It will be like more of, right, 80% of lab session, right? And 20% will be given theoretical for theoretical understanding. 80% will be lab. I'll write it separately. And theory will be 20% for theoretical understanding. 20 to 30% we can say, right? So yes, but initial level, so it will be most of this theoretical session only, because one, unless we are here, right, unless we have completed the basic level tickle understanding, in the second part, right, from the second stage, that is tickle scripting, improving the logic, right, improving the logic in programming. So from here onwards, we will continuously in parallel, we will be having some lab sessions also, right? Is it clear? So classes, timing, and session duration. Any doubts here? Any questions you have? Any question? Sir, can you please teach Innovus commands and how to read the reports? Yes, we will be using, that is what I asked, whether you know the Innovus environment or not. Of course, in tickle scripting, we will be using some of the Innovus commands also, right? Which is relevant, I will say, relevant commands, right? Used in Innovus. That is what it meant. Used in scripts. Relevant Innovus commands. Whether it will be on morning session, so most of the time it is morning session only, based upon the availability, and there are other things. So of course we have two slots here, so basically it will be mostly on morning session, but sometimes there will be post lunch session also, right? So I have written and, right, I'll write or, right? Yes, Aman, there will be recorded session. Each and every live session will be recorded. Each live session will be recorded, right? That is correct. Anything else? How can we access the recorded video? So recorded video every day, once live session is completed, Nitya. So those recorded videos will be, after each session, it will be uploaded. Recorded session will be uploaded in InSkill portal. So I'll just write VLSI Guru portal, right? VLSI Guru portal, so that you can have access. So one more question usually comes up, right? Till what time we can have this access? Till your course period, you can have the access. Is any other question? Any other doubt? Ria, sir, may I know the tomorrow's time slot? Tomorrow there won't be any session for tickle scripting. Okay, as this is a demo session to brief you on the tickle and course structure and class timing, or any other queries you have, you can clear your doubts, so that it will be helpful to take decision whether to take enrollment or not. Is offline session available, sir? Yes, Monica. All the sessions will be offline sessions. Except this one, today we didn't have the offline session. But apart from this, so once our full-fledged session starts, right, from the basic onwards, all these sessions, all the sessions will be offline as well as online. So both will be there. Both options are there. So live sessions, right? You can attend from the institute also, can be attended from institute. Yes, any other question? Any other question related to timing, duration, or syllabus or course, or any other expectations you have? You can tell that also. We'll try to include that. Also, can you please teach how to read the reports? Yes, that's what I told, right? So reading the report is a design thing, right? We have to go through the design and then we have to understand. So we won't spend much of a time there. For that, you have to attend Innovus design session. So this is basically a tickle scripting in the Innovus platform. So how we can use tickle scripts on top of design. So of course, I will show you how to dump the reports, right? How to read the reports, that will take a design sessions, right? We need to understand the path, how many buffers are there, what type of buffers are added, right? Why it is added. All these are design related questions, right? As I said, this is a dedicated session. We have a very limited amount of time, that is 1 month. We don't have 6 months here, so that we can cover design sessions also, right? In this dedicated time, we have to focus only on the dedicated goal. That is what the course goal is, to have understanding on tickle scripting related to physical design in Innovus tool. That is our goal. If time permits, definitely I will cover those topic also. Yes. How to fix tickles, how to write the scripting to fixes. Yes, those things will be covered. Don't worry. Script related with the PD. I am from the DFT. Task on lab will be on PD. Okay. So yes, so most of the scripts will be related to PD only. But if you cover the first two stages, right, basic level tickle and tickle scripting and logic level understanding, if you are able to develop, and we will see some scripts which can be applied on Innovus. So that will definitely help you here to develop your logic, right? How it can be used in EDA related tools, right? As per what I can understand in DFT, whether you are using any sort of EDA tool, you can mention that, right? If you are using any sort of EDA tool, whether we do anything related to DFT in Innovus tool, of course, no, right? So definitely, so DFT usually inserted during the synthesis stage itself, and DFT file generation requires different set of skills. It is not related to PD here, right? But definitely the first 3 points, 1, 2, and 3 will help you. Even fourth point will also help you to develop your logic and writing the tickle script in EDA environment. So it is not going in waste. So that knowledge you can apply in writing the scripts in DFT. For an example, I'll just tell you how it will be helping you. Now, sometimes you have to do file handling, right? So file handling using tickle, using tickle script. Now in DFT, there are also many files, right? Sometimes, so you need to read some of the scanner. And suppose if I ask you, can you find out how many scan cells are there, right? How many scan cells which are there in the particular DFT file? How you are going to find out? You need to find out the count, right? So to get the count, you have to develop the logic first before understanding the tickle itself. So what logic says? So there are things called as pattern, right? So you need to understand pattern. Let's say, so I don't know what you are doing in VLSI group. Let's say we will generalize it here and we'll understand that, okay, in DFT, so there is some pattern called as, so the flip-flops which are used as DFF, right? Some pattern kind of, the cell name is something like this, DFF. We'll use some meta characters before and after, right? So what does this mean? Something is there before DFF pattern and something after the DFF pattern, right? Now I want to check how many of these cells are there in that particular file. Now it is easy, right? Now you can count it incrementally, right? Through a loop, right? You can run one loop to count this line by line. That is called as line by line operation. We'll understand this logic also. How to use line by line reading operation, right? This will help you to read throughout the file. It will save your time, right? You don't have to go through the file. And then in the end, you can print the count, right? So this is a logic. This is very simple logic. This can be applied irrespective of whether you are in DFT or in PD or in DV also, right? This is just one example I have given. There are many things. Suppose now, so you have run, your design is in running state. For an example, your design is in running state, right? Now, so you should write a script in such a way. Of course, in DFT also there will be multiple number of reports which will be going to be dumped, right? Once you are running something, some DFT codes, right? Some DFT operation you are doing, right? So let's say it is dumping a lot of reports or not dumping some of the reports. Now you want some dedicated reports only. Dedicated reports to be dumped, right? So for this also you can write specific scripts, specific tickle script, right? This is another example, irrespective of whether you are in DFT or PD. So this is also going to help you in the DFT. One more example I will give. So I don't know very much about the. So there is one more thing that is called a stuck-at fault, and right, stuck-at fault at 1, stuck-at fault at 0, right? Let's say now you need to find out the stuck-at fault. So if you have developed the logic, you can find out count of stuck-at fault with respective nets, right? So on which net, or we can say pins on which pin, right? What is the stuck at fault, 1 or 0, and count how many stuck at 1 is there, how many stuck at 0 is there, right? This can also help you. So I will give some examples on PD also. I've given 3 here, which is universal. So in PD, let's say now you have one design which is completed till PR. What is PRO? Post route optimization design, or we can say PR, post route design, right? Here, here your signal routing is completed. Signal routing is done, right? Now let's say I want to get some information from my design, right? Like what? I want to get the information like what is the what is the longest, what are the longest, I will say I need to get the top 5 longest, or not top 5, I want to get the length, right, of all the nets in descending order, right? Or sometimes what I need, suppose a specific net is there, specific net is there. So for this specific net I want to get some information like what. So what is the transition here, right? Then what is the metal layer used, what is the metal width, right? So these all information we can get or not, and the length also, length of that specific net, right? Now if this is stitched with a report, what happens? If you stitch it with the report means what? Let's say you have a report or timing report you have, suppose, right? So in timing report there will be lot of information. Can you help me here, what all information present in the timing report which is dumped out of your design, right? Can you help me, anyone? If you have completed the PD understanding on PD course, you can easily answer this. What are the things, right? What are the data which is present in the timing report? Simple question. Yes, Saman. Arrival time, required time, slack, cell delay, and what else? What is the most important thing? It is the start point, right? Start point and the end point. You have to go sequentially, right? Don't directly tell arrival time and end point, right? Next what? Then you have clock period, then uncertainty, right? Then you have net, sorry, then you have what? net names, cell names, and corresponding you can also print transition delay, right? And what else? Stage delay. And so we also know that, right, you know the understanding on the rise and fall delay, right? So whether it is rise or fall, that information we can, so stage, right, stage rise or fall, whether it is rising or falling edge, that also you can get the information from here, right? Then what is your latency, right? So what is latency? So latency is related something with clock, right? Clock latency, you might know. Okay, now there are many information present over here. So out of all this information, if we want to get the specific information, we don't want everything here, right? Now we are seeing that for the specific nets, right? We are seeing that there is high, the transition is very high, right? Now what we will understand that why transition is usually high, right? Why transition? What is transition? Anyone? What is net transition? What is net transition time? So you have to brush up your PD concept. If you have forgot, if you have learned very long back, it will be easier for you to understand tickle scripting, right? While when we are applying on the design, because I'm not expecting here that, right? What I'm expecting here that you are okay with the PD concepts, because many times we'll be using these terminologies if you want to understand related to PD, tickle scripting related to PD. Time required to reach from one logic to state to another logic state. Okay. So what happens if it increases? Right? What happens if it is increases? So there will be delay, right? Or constraint failure. So constraints won't meet, right? So how we can, so what is the basically what is the reason why there is so there are many reasons, right? One popular reason here is that its length, right? If net length is increasing, right, definitely what will happen? Transition will become bad here, right? So before, right, you cannot directly jump into fixing this net. First, you need to understand what is the root cause here. So basically, what is the root cause here? It is the length, right? So there are many reasons, but popular most reasons are like it is a long net, right? Now you know that okay, it is a length, but in the timing report there will be thousand number of lines, 2000, 3000, 4000. Now how you are going to identify those only specific net which is having the longer nets, longer length, that is important or not? Or whether you are going to scan through that file one by one, line by line, right? It will take more time. That is not a feasible option. What is the better option? Better option is that we write a tickle script, right? So we can write tickle script to identify specific net, right, which has a higher transition and length. And we will also get the metal layers also, and type of net, that is also important, right? Why type of net is important? Type of net means what? Whether it is a signal or clock, right? So why? Because in the timing report you will also have required time and arrival time. So this will help you to understand what is your slack value. Timing is met or not. If it is not met, you need to understand whether problem is caused by the signal net or the clock net. That is very important part here, right? So while scripting, you need to consider physical design concept also, right? That is very important. If you are good in physical design concept, you can write more better tickle script. That is the first point, right? So let me ask you third question here. So how many of you are familiar with the PD concept or learned PD in some PD course? So say yes or no if you are good with PD or not good with PD. So third question, third important question is related to PD concept, PD concepts. So you have the familiarity, you are good with PD concept, or no, I am not good with PD concept. Can I have some responses? Okay, okay. Anyone is there who has, who are not familiar with the PD concept, who haven't studied PD itself, who are new to PD basic level? Okay, basic level is also fine here. Yeah. Because at least you should know the flow and what is happening inside each stage. That should be clear at least, because our we will be not focusing on design here anyways, so you don't have to worry on that. Okay, so I hope so by responses here, right? If you have any other no, you can tell me. Okay, so seems like everyone, mostly 99% people who are attending this demo session knows the PD concept. Okay, this is fine. So let us, I hope everything is clear here. The course structure we are going to follow, the timing and the duration, and how, so what will be our approach in this course, right? Is it clear everyone? What will be our basic approach? Any questions here? If not, I will move to next. Okay, so we will move to some basics here. So today we will not have any lab related session, right? Because it will require access and setup based upon how many of you are enrolling. So we need to provide access to the Innovus sessions also, right? So always whenever I am having the session, I will recommend to all my students that you should keep your laptop and access with you first. Without access, I won't start any session because it is no point to start, right? Where is this? So in the basic level, what we are going to follow, we will understand how to set up the environment, right? What are all special variables? What is the basic syntax? What are the in general basic commands which is regularly used in TCL? What are all data types used? So these all covers in the basics, variables, operators. What are the decision making statements? What are all statements which can be used for loops, right? How to write arrays, how to use strings, how to write list, what is the function here, right? In what ways list can be utilized, dictionary, procedures, packages, file. So this is a very huge list, right? So our goal is scripting, not to waste time in the understanding all this. So major things we will try to brush up quickly, right? In 1 or 2 sessions, that's all. Okay. So this all I will definitely explain in your lab session itself, means when we will be having lab, right? So I will be also making you understand how to write the basic syntax. But usually what I follow, I never follow. I never memorize these syntaxes. No need of memorizing any syntax here, right? Just understand which structure is going to be used where. That's all. So what is important here in this course is that whether we are able to develop the logic or not. That is important part which we are going to learn from this course. Okay. So here is just one example on procedures, right? In short, the keyword which is used here is called as proc. How to write a proc? So what is proc basically, right? So you might have studied C language, C++ language. There, if I want to draw the correlation between that and tickle, right? What is that nearest correlation? That is function. So in C language, you might have studied function, right? It is quite similar to that function. So procedure is whenever we need to call a procedure multiple number of times, right? So why not give a function name, right, or procedure name or proc name and call it multiple number of times? Suppose now you want to do addition multiple number of times, right? You want to do addition multiple number of times. Every time you are not going to write like this, right? Variable A is going to add it with variable B. Whether you are going to do that? No, of course not. We don't need to do like this, right? So if I am doing something multiple number of times, addition of two variables, addition of two numbers, multiple number of times. So we will define one proc, right? And its respective inputs, that is A and B, enclosed in curly brackets, right? And write the statement, the functional statement inside that proc. So what is the main function of this proc? Adding any two numbers, right? Which can be given through user. So here you can see puts is usually used for printing the answers, right? Printing the responses. And what is this add? Add is the proc name which we have given here, right? What is the function it will perform? That is inside this proc statement. That is expr means expression, right? So 10 and 30 is the variable number which is given by user. You can change to any number. I can give 9 and 20 also, right? Now what will happen? Moment I give the first number as 10. Now this 10 will be assigned to the first variable A. It won't be assigned in B. It will pick whatever first variable you are assigning here, right? It will be stored in this variable A. The second number or the data which you are giving here, user data, that will be assigned to the second variable. It won't go to the first one, right? This is how it follows. Wow. I'm telling the backend thing, how tickle backend works. Okay. So puts, you can get the answer using this proc. You don't have to write complete expression. Now you want to add 3 plus 5. You just use add 3, 5. Give numbers. That's all. It will give you the answer. So proc is very helpful, right? So apart from regular variables, or we will say that global variables, apart from global variables or universal variables, we have special variables here, right? So there are three special variables, argc, argv, and argv with parenthesis, right? So each one, sorry, argv here, argvc refers to the number of command line argument. What does this mean? Refers to the number of command line arguments, means it holds the count of command line argument, means how many command lines are there, right? It holds that count. So what is the argv? It refers to the list containing the command line arguments. What does this mean? So it can contain what? Refers to the list containing the command. So the which list that command line arguments are containing. That list will be present in argv. Okay. So we will see this all three special variables and how we are using it. That also we will see. Right. So here is another example, right? So you can see this example, what it is doing. It calculates the macro area, right? Now, if you see, to set any variable, right? So set a name inside any variable. So here what I am doing, I'm selecting one of the memory name, right? Or macro name here, SRAM 256K. Now, what is the function of this script? I need to get the area for the particular macro. So I can write like this. So to get an area, what is important here, right? How to get an area? So we will understand logic. Don't see script. Important part is to understand the logic. Let me share the screen here. Now, so this is my design, and there are multiple number of macros. I want to get the area for this macro. How to get the area for this macro? What will be your logic, right? Forget about tickle and everything. First important thing is, what is your logic? Anyone? How to get the area of this memory? You can give a try, right? It can be wrong. It is fine if your logic is wrong. Find out width and height. Correct, right? That is one of these. There can be many logic which can be used, but it is also correct here. So find out width, find out height, right? This is the most simplest way to understand area of any object, right? Find out width and height, which will give you area. That is correct, right? But question is how to find out width and area. So whatever you said, that is absolutely correct. Now how to find out width and height? That is the next question. Yes. Anyone? Correct. Right. So important is, for any rectangular or any rectilinear based, we'll say rectangular only, any rectangular based object, right? Basically have four coordinates, but we will always try to use what? Diagonal coordinates, because why? It reduces the data count, right? So LLX, lower left x coordinate, lower left y coordinate, upper right x coordinate, upper right y coordinate, right? Understood? Now if you have these two coordinates, it is very easy to get the width and height or not, right? So how you will get width? What is your width here? Upper right x minus lower left x or not, correct? This is my width. And what is your height? Upper right y minus lower left y. It will give you the height. Now these two can be multiplied or not. Now area, how you can get? Upper right x minus LLX, right? So you have to use keyword expr. I will explain that. It is a tickle part. First we are understanding the logic. URY minus LLY, right? This will give you the area of the selected macro or the chosen macro. So how to get the coordinates, right? Just writing URX and LLY won't work. You need to get the coordinate also, right? What is the Innovus command to get coordinate? That also we need to understand or not? Important, right? How to get coordinate? See, one thing can be done is you can write one macro and you can write one proc, right? And you can give how many variables required? How many variables required here? Everyone, 1, 2, 3, 4. So proc, you have to write four variables names, right? Let's say x1, x2, x3, x4. Four variables are required or not. So this is not visible. I'll use black. So it requires four variables: x1, x2, x3, x4. Now all these four variables, right? You have to use it. So what you can do? We'll give one proc name also, macro area, right? Now one way is that you write macro underscore area and give these inputs manually: x1, x2, x3, x4, right? Moment you give, let's say I will give 0, 10, something like 20, 40, some random number I am giving here, right? So it will evaluate and give me the macro area. So this is how you can get the macro area. But what is the smartest way here? Every time whether you are going to give coordinate, is it a smartest way? No, this is not the smarter way. Smarter way is that what you can do, instead of giving the inputs manually, you can extract the coordinate from your design itself, right? How we can extract? So in ICC2, right, how we can extract? We can get the attributes, right? We can get the attributes. What attributes we need to get for this memory? What is the attribute name? What is the attribute name? bbox, absolutely correct. bbox attribute you need to get for this memory. Moment you get the bbox, right, you arrange in these variables, get it in these variables, and automatically you will get area for any one of these macro. You can choose any macro, you can choose all macros also. Okay, but what about, right, how to get in Innovus? That I will tell you when we start with the Innovus session also, with this tickle scripting. So we have dbget commands, right? dbget top dot cell dot, right, name. So you can give the name SRAM, whatever cell name was there, and first you need to get the name, then you get the db get top dot cell dot, then coordinates. There it is called as coordinate. There also we have attribute name called as bbox. So when we give coordinate, it gives coordinate for all 4 points. When we give bbox, it only gives the diagonal coordinates. There is one more attribute in Innovus called as box. So box will give also all 4 coordinates. There is one more attribute called as pt. So pt is basically pointer or the origin of object. So pt attribute is usually used for origin of attribute. Origin means what? If you give pt attribute here, you will get this origin point, right? Origin point coordinate. So that is what only x and y you will get for this, not all these coordinate. Understood? So this is just I'm giving you a demo here, how we are going to follow, what will be our approach. So our approach will be very simple. To get the problem statement, first understand the basic concept. We will not directly jump into the higher level linking with the PD. First we'll understand basic uh, this thing, basic tickle, and then we will jump to logic level development, right? Then only we will come back to our this thing. Okay, so by seeing this script, right, what we can understand here, what are our observation, that there are some keywords which are used to write this script, right? What are those keywords? What are those keywords? You can see there is puts. What is puts? It is used to print anything, right? It can be string, it can be number, it can be statement, right? Then we have set, right? If you want to set any data into variable. For any mathematical calculation or arithmetic calculation, you have to use expr. Expr stands for expression. What is proc? Proc is similar to what? Function. Now in the end, what? How to call a proc, right? So that we have seen in the last example also, adding the two numbers. Clear everyone? So if you have understood this, right, simple question I'll ask. If you have studied PD, I mean theoretical basics before also, simple question. I'll give you some time also, 2 minutes of time to think, and you can answer it. Let me share that. Okay, so question is, I'll just write two things here. Puts, not the capital P. Okay, puts my name is, right, Abhi. Puts my name is Abhi. Can you tell me the output for these two? What will be the output for these two? So one more line I'll write. Set Abhi equals to 1. I'll give you 2 minutes of time to think. If you know, you can answer immediately. Question is clear, right? You have two statements. what will be the output for first, what will be the output for second. No, you have to tell output for both RIA. So this is, let's say, question 1 or bit A. This is also question. Tell me output for both. What is the output? Output for 1, output for 2. Question 2 output, my name is. Okay. Question 1 output. Okay. Okay. What about others? Do you have any responses, any answer? Nitya, Kumar, Pooja, Harshi. My name is one. Okay. My name is one for what, Nitya? First question or second question? You have to mention that also, right? How I will understand the first question output and second question output. My name is one for first. Correct, right? Many. Okay, first question. That is correct. So the point of giving this question is, I know that many of you know this, but we are trying to understand like what is the difference between this double quotes and curly brackets, right? So usually if you give curly double quotes, it will treat this as a variable. It will not treat it as a string, right? And whereas this one, it is just a character, right? This is a variable and this is just a character. So that is the reason it will print what? My name is one. And here it will print my name is dollar Abhi, as it is. It is treating it as a character. So see, by just changing certain type of syntax, right, it changes complete output or not, right? Like that, it is very important to understand the syntax also. So in the first two examples, what I have made you understand that what is the important of right logic, what is the most important part of understanding the right logic. And second, which we are going to cover, is that what is the importance of right syntax. So there is one more I can give you, like what is the difference here between for each and for each in collection, right? What is the difference here between for each and for each in collection? So like that we will cover a lot of questions, right? It looks similar. It will also work same way as this one, but there will be slight difference. If you see these two statements also, it looks similar, but there is a slight difference. Like that, we will also develop the understanding on syntax, using the right syntax in right place. Otherwise, it will make big difference in your output. Okay. I think I have covered, I have conveyed almost all the informations which we are going to carry forward in these sessions. If you have any specific doubts, you can ask me. So we are going to stop this session as it is a just an initial briefing session. Is any query? Any questions? So whether everyone has enrolled or you are yet to enroll this course? If you are yet to enroll means you will be provided with access. Then we can start. Okay, no queries. So we'll stop here. Okay, Nitya. If you have any queries, you can ask. I'll wait for 2 minutes. Otherwise, we'll stop here. Regarding fees, you can check with the administrative team, like what will be the fees. Is this course useful for experienced? So, Anindra, right? See, whether it will be helpful for experience means I cannot judge your experience level, right? I have seen people with 4 years experience, 5 years experience, people who are struggling with tickle scripts. So it depends on what level you are standing in, how much you are good in tickle scripting. That defines your experience level. So if I say you are a 5 year experience, whether you are experienced in tickle scripts, that is the important question. So I cannot tell just by like what is your level, right? You have to tell me something more, how much you know, how much you are capable to do, then only I will be able to tell you. So this is basically tickle scripting on Innovus platform, not the ICC2. So yes, suppose you have earlier worked in ICC2 synopsis tools, right? And you are more familiar with that environment. Now you want to learn in Innovus. That will be, then this course will be helpful for you. Or if you haven't started any tickle scripting and you want to learn something basic as well as the advance of tickle scripting, then also it is helpful. Suppose you have only basic level scripting and some small scripts so you know how to do it, right? But you want to understand more design based scripting, then also this course is helpful for you. So you have to choose in which level you are standing in, because every person level is different. We cannot generalize here. Could you provide weekend online classes? Yeah, Srujana, there is both option available. So both offline as well as online session. If you are somehow not able to attend offline, right, or you are not in Bangalore, you can opt for online classes also. Any other question? Okay. So I hope you liked my session and willing to join this course, right? Thank you everyone. If you have any question, you can ask. Otherwise, you can start dropping this session.